And we're live.
That's right.
And recording at the same time. All right. Hello, welcome to the second round of Jim and Friends Read the News. Again, we have Zavel Play.
Hello.
Justin Prop.
Hey.
And Gabe Hammer.
How's it going?
So, we are going to go with our eclectic mix of news articles collected from the libraries of Milwaukee, the newspapers, and anything that we could consider newsworthy. So last week we covered the Packers draft, and this week I figured I'll start out right at the same spot. The most important news, the Packers news. We have an article from Madison, Wisconsin, talking about how help is on the way for the returning Packers, but some have to be nervous about their roster spots. So whether they want to admit it or not, most veterans pay close attention to the NFL draft. While general managers and coaches love to generate competition by bringing in college players, what that really means is someone is going to lose their job. There were clear winners and losers on the Green Bay Packers roster after the team completed its 2012 draft class, which included 2 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 2 defensive backs, and 2 offensive players. So the winners and losers, winners being Clay Matthews, the biggest winner for the Packers draft class. Reinforcements have finally arrived for him. After doing nothing to help Matthews last year, general manager Ted Thompson went out of his way to make sure the defense had more weapons. Matthews' sack total and overall productivity shall soar. Even Dedrick Smith, the Packers didn't draft a center. Many expected they would, leaving Dedrick Smith as the backup to Jeff Saturday. Doesn't hurt that he also plays guard, so his job seems to be well intact. Marshall Newhouse, another offensive lineman. Packers released Chad Clifton last week, then waited until the final round to draft a tackle. This means they were pleased with Newhouse's ability to protect Aaron Rodgers' blind side last season. So those are some of our winners. Losers for the Packers, meaning they're going to have competition. The defensive linemen. The Packers are tired of waiting around for Mike Neal, Jarius Wynn, and C.J. Wilson to emerge from the shadows. Mediocrity will not be tolerated. That's why Thompson drafted Michigan State's Drell Worthy in the second round and Iowa's Mike Daniels in the fourth. Earlier, Thompson signed free agents Anthony Hargrove and Daniel Muir. Sure sign changes are in store. It took a year after the departure of Cullen Jenkins for Thompson to swing into action, but it's better late than never. I was wondering, do we have our background sound? May not. I forgot to say it. Today we are actually at the Cinco de Mayo celebration on 5th and National. So last night we were walking around 5th and National. They had a little block party going on. The band was playing. So that is where we are for this broadcast. I wanted to bring that up. So happy Cinco de Mayo, belated Cinco de Mayo to everybody. So, whoa, little rumble in the studio here. Oh, I'm sorry. We are also of the friends. We also have Duke today. Duke is Justin's new dog.
Yep.
Newly adopted dog, or you?
Yeah, I just get it.
So. So Duke is here with us today. Zavi, got something online, or I could go into another one right here.
Oh no, I'm doing good. New premium sausages. Sheboygan-based Johnsonville Sausage LLC has introduced 4 new varieties of its premium fully cooked sausage, now available at retailers nationwide. The new cooking sausage is available in andouille, Polish kielbasa, smoked, and 3-cheese Italian style. Each variety of Johnsonville premium full cooked sausage is made with the premium cuts of pork, no fillers, and flavorful blends of seasonings. The new products feature an innovative package design with 2 individually wrapped and freshly sealed sausages. Quote, at Johnsonville, we recognize mom's desire for convenience and value in addition to quality and flavor, said Chris O'Toole, Johnsonville brand manager. Our new premium cooking sausage is a great way for her to provide a flavorful, and my article gets cut off there.
Well, I think we all know we need more sausages. That's what I got.
I
out of
figured
that.
that's a very Wisconsin.
It is.
The world
If we all just had more
is
sausages,
empty without
you know,
sausage.
Right? Less crime if everyone just had sausage. Speaking of food, I have one here, Out of the Frying Pan. This comes from April 2012's issue of Governing. Out of the Frying Pan. For years, restaurants have had to pay companies to haul away the used cooking grease they threw out every night. But now, thanks to an increasing demand for biofuel, the commodities price of fryer oil is 4 times what it was 10 years ago. The back alley oil has become an attractive target for thieves, the New York Times reports. California and Virginia have both passed statutes to regulate the way grease is disposed, and North Carolina lawmakers may vote on a similar measure in May. The rendering industry wants to protect the growing grease market from freeloaders, according to the Times. But making it a legislative priority isn't easy. Indeed, as many accused grease snatchers have successfully argued in court, if a restaurant is throwing the oil out, hasn't it become garbage? Can hauling someone's trash away really be considered a crime? No, one man's trash. It's another man's grease money.
We do this one.
It's like my old roommate Bob.
Go for it. Who was that?
My old roommate Bobber, and back in Illinois, he drove a biodiesel bus.
Really?
Yeah, that's how he got his gas. He would go over to the Greek place, and say, hey, take away your grease for free. And drove around on one man's grease, another man's gas.
There you go. We need more grease.
All right, John Edwards' meltdown. His trial gets underway. Pell's fear disgraced politician is losing it. Edward envies JFK, who was known to have affairs and got away with it. John could very well become completely unglued during the trial. He just can't understand why he is so hated. The trial and relentless negative publicity have taken their toll. He broke down, tearfully asking Appel, "Why me?" He sobbed about how unfair life is. John's few remaining friends are seriously worried about his mental state and his physical health because he has a heart condition. Another close, yeah.
Well, we're gonna keep watching that story. We're kind of following John's meltdown.
He also
It's a continuing meltdown, really. It's
Well, as it turns out, the best weapon for protecting ourselves from air pollution is the Clean Air Act. But corporate lobbyists and the Reagan administration are mounting a massive campaign to destroy it. James Watt's appointment of Ann Gorsuch to head the Environmental Protection Agency, coupled with large sums of money the corporate world is pouring into the demise of the Clean Air Act, pose a serious threat to the air that we breathe. Opposing any reduction in air quality are a vast majority of Americans. According to pollster Lou Harris, forming a more active opposition to the reduction in air quality standards are a number of environmental organizations such as the Sierra Club, Friends of the Earth, and National Audubon Society, and Environmental Decade. Membership in these organizations has been skyrocketing since the Republicans came to power.
oh man.
And that comes from the Crazy Shepherd, 1982 or something like that.
All right. Thank you, Crazy Shepherd. Let's get some more clean air. It's better for you. So, I have one here about tuition, bill me later. I know we talked a little bit about kids going to college last week, and so as we know, it's getting more and more expensive to go to college. So this again is from Governing, April 2012. Facing the prospect of double-digit increases in tuition for the remainder of their college careers, the editors of Highlander did what any self-respecting campus journalist would do. They wrote columns complaining about it. But they did something more. They kicked off a movement at their campus, the University of California, Riverside, that now has university officials rethinking their entire fee structure. Rather than collecting tuition up front, the student's proposal would have UC take a share of each student's salary, 5% of their incomes, for the first 20 years after they graduate. When we found that no one was really working on anything like this, that no real solutions were being put forward, he decided to work on one ourselves, says Chris Lacascio, Highlander's editor-in-chief and now leader of a group called Fix UC. The idea is getting a serious hearing, says Steve Montel, spokesman for the UC system. University budget mavens are working on mechanical questions such as how collections and income verification might work. At the same time, there are serious doubts about the plan. Since the university couldn't collect until students graduated and started working, Montel says it would be left with a serious cash flow problem for years to come, and it's not clear that paying a percentage of future income would be such a great deal for the students themselves. Lacascio objects to descriptions of his scheme as a loan, but they may be what it amounts to. Students could end up paying more as a result, especially since many get a big break on current tuition rates through financial aid. The plan does nothing to address the underlying problem behind the sharp tuition increases, major reductions in state aid, says Bruce Johnstone, an expert on higher education finance at the University of Buffalo. Instead, it mainly serves to shift costs from higher income parents onto students themselves. Johnstone says, while making the low-income students whose parents do not have to pay now because they are financially unable, have to pay when the tuition is shifted to the deferred form. Still, despite its potential downsides, Lacascio's idea is getting attention from student groups around the country. At a time when everyone is eager to find out how to keep college affordable, it seems any idea is worth talking about.
Thousands of fishermen and women and children are flocking to Lake Winnebago in hopes of spearing the giant fish. A small shantytown crops up on the frozen waters with up to 5,000 shacks and countless cars, campers, and trucks. The Lake Winnebago system, which includes Lake Poygan, Lake Winneconne, and Big Lake Butte de Mort, is the only place in the world where sturgeon spears gather in great numbers. In fact, Lake Winnebago is one of just two places in the country where sturgeon can be legally speared. Black Lake in Michigan is the other. But Black Lake's cap of just 5 sturgeon every season can't compare to the system-wide Wisconsin DNR cap of about 2,000.
Oh, wow.
But that's from February. That's why this it's a little late news.
Yeah.
Justin, it sounds like you know something about that.
Well, I just remember Lake Butamore was the first testing grounds of the U-boat.
Oh.
So yeah, down in the depths of Lake Butamore is a submarine. Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah, that was 1911 or something around there.
Oh. Did they beat the Germans?
I think so. It was the first.
It was the first U-boat?
Yeah, it was the first submarine.
Oh, right.
It didn't work. But
I didn't.
It was.
Does
that's
that
why
count
it's
then?
down there. Yeah. Well, I mean, it went down. It's a submarine. It didn't come back up.
It's submerged permanently. All right.
LA teens getting high on hand sanitizer. All it takes is just a few swallows and you have a drunk teenager. 6 teenagers have shown up in 2 Los Angeles emergency rooms in the last few months with alcohol poisoning after drinking hand sanitizer, worrying public health officials who say the cases could signal a dangerous trend. Some of the teenagers used salt to separate the alcohol from the sanitizers, making a potent drink. Yeah.
They're moonshining hand sanitizer.
That's what they're doing.
Wow.
Yep. Although there have only been a handful of cases, Ragan said the problem could easily become a larger problem. Bottles of hand sanitizer are inexpensive and accessible, and teenagers can find distillation instructions on the internet. It's kind of scary that they go to that extent to get a shot of hard liquor. I don't know.
Wow, hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
The new alcohol alternate there. My goodness. Well, with that, I think we might need some good health news with clues to aspirin's anti-cancer powers. You might need that.
I just want to add this quick. 62%. Anyway, it makes 120 proof drink.
120 proof.
Yeah.
That's up there.
Yeah, a few drinks can cause a person's speech to slur and stomach to burn.
Yeah.
And make people so drunk that they have to be monitored in an emergency room.
I can't imagine that would go well at all. Well, those kids might need aspirin then, when we might have the clues to the anti-cancer powers of aspirin. Aspirin seems to help keep cancer away. A new study may go some way to explain why. To investigate the drug's unexpected side effects, Graham Hardy at the University of Dundee in the United Kingdom applied salicylate produced by the breakdown of aspirin to cultured human kidney cells. He found that the drug activated AMPK, an enzyme involved in cell growth and metabolism that has been shown to play a role in cancer. Salicylate, found in willow bark, has been used as a medicine for thousands of years. This is an ancient herbal remedy which has probably always been part of the human diet, says Hardy, but we're still finding out how it works. Co-author Greg Steinberg of McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, tested high doses of salicylate on mice. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but whatever. Those mice engineered to lack AMPK did not experience the same metabolic effects from salicylate as mice with AMPK. The next step will be conduct studies in mice to see whether AMPK is important in mediating an anti-cancer effect. So there we go. We're singling out how to get the cancer. And then with those genetic white blood cells from last week's story, we'll be able to go right in there and attack.
In news from China, one of the most shocking stories in the Chinese news was a burglar in Harbin, Heilongjiang, left an unusual calling card at the scene of his crimes. Life coaching. You are really, quote, you are really poor, do work harder, was scrawled on the wall at a crime scene after the thief had discovered little of value at the property. 6 out of more than 20 burgled households reportedly had similar graffiti. The man was later caught by police when he was observed behaving suspiciously in an apartment building. He was found to have stolen more than 20,000 yuan, which is 31,744 US dollars worth of gold, jewelry, and cash since August of 2011.
Oh man. So he robs you and then he insults you on top of it. Mm-hmm. It's really kicking that horse while he's down, huh? Thank goodness.
All right. Scientists can convert scar tissue into muscle. Scientists say that they have successfully converted the scar tissue that forms after a heart attack into heart muscle. The work, reported in the journal Circulation Research, was done in mice and is important because heart muscle does not necessarily regenerate after a heart attack, leaving patients at increased risk for heart failure. Researchers used microRNAs to accomplish conversion from scar tissue to muscle. MicroRNAs are considered to be master switches that turn genes on and off. Scientists said the new finding will lead to attempts to use microRNAs to repair damaged hearts in larger animals. The eventual goal would be to use these studies to develop treatments for people.
Well, Well, we're getting a lot of medicine today in our news. A lot of medical news.
Yeah.
Things are looking up though on that front, so that's good. That's good. And with that, things being up on that front in medicine, from where is this? This is from the Journal of Sexual Medicine, Experimental Biology Annual Meeting. The Gspot found, maybe. That's what it says, yeah. In 1950, gynecologist Ernst Grafenberg introduced the world to the concept of the G-spot, though he didn't provide any analytical map with its exact location. He believes stimulation of the urethra could arouse a woman to orgasm. No one since has been able to locate such an erogenous zone. But now, based on an autopsy dissection of an 83-year-old woman, a retired OBGYN, claims to have found a grape-like composition in the front wall of the vagina that believes is the G-spot. It looks like erectile tissue, which gets stimulated and filled with blood during sex, but he hasn't analyzed it yet. So for now, the G-spot remains a tantalizing, if not entirely satisfying mystery. So
it's like the boner in the cave.
yeah, it's a little.
How can that seems like, how did it take that long to discover that? I don't know.
Apparently no one did an autopsy of any women. So the entire, since 1950. So 62 years later, they dissected a 83-year-old OBGYN. and they might have something. Maybe. I like that.
But here's another article I'm skeptical. Candlelight dinners may be romantic, but they are not so good for your health, especially if you're trying to lose weight. Dieters who eat with lamps turned low eat more than those who dine with bright light, according to a study in Personality and Individual Differences. I guess that's a publication. Psychologist Joseph Kassoff believes that darkness lowers self-awareness, which makes people less focused on their caloric intake and less concerned about their dieting goals. An easy fix: switch the bulbs in your dining area to stronger ones.
Huh.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Just
there's nothing that doesn't sound like science.
It seems like there'd still be a lot of variables involved in that scientific experiment there.
Yeah, I think they just
changing just changing light bulbs. I don't know. Well, with our food, there might be a seasoning tax on the way. Will marking up sugar and salt make us healthier? So they say down here, tobacco was the tobacco tax, or the sin taxes as they call them, was started in 1794 for tobacco. The spirits tariffs was funded the Revolutionary War. 30 states have tried and failed to tax soda, and Denmark levied the first tax in 2011 on fat. So that's the history of the sales, but what they're doing is generations of popes and kings and presidents have known this about human nature. When people really want something, they're willing to pay for it, which is why taxes on alcohol and tobacco have long been a reliable way to fill government coffers. But in recent years, health officials have turned to the tariff system to curb public consumption of fat, sugar, salt, and more. With the obesity epidemic now claiming 34% of U.S. adults. Wow, 1/3. Legislatures are proposing taxes on the added sugar in products like sodas and salt and snack foods like potato chips in the hopes that higher costs will change people's eating habits and improve health. It goes on, but I think that's pretty much, I mean, we get the idea of the story. So they want to tax salt and sugar. I don't know. They'll tax anything, won't they?
All right. State Senator Kathleen Vinehout admits that she's running an unconventional campaign for governor. The traditional campaign is to talk to rich people, raise lots of money, and buy TV time, she said. Instead, what we're doing is talking to people all across the state, asking them to get involved. If they don't like money in politics, I'm your candidate. And if you don't like politics, as usual, go for the unusual. Vinehout 53 is a long shot in the May 8th four-way Democratic primary. Still, she yearns to take on Governor Scott Walker in the June 5th recall election. Her pitch to Democratic voters goes something like this. She vows to dig into the nitty-gritty details of government. She represents a state Senate district up north where to win, Democrats have gained votes of Republicans and independents, and unlike the other candidates, she's not a career politician. She is an ex-dairy farmer and an ex-college professor who came to politics at a relatively late age of 47 when she was elected to the state Senate in 2006. All right.
So, remember to vote on Tuesday?
Yeah. Vote on Tuesday.
It looks like the number of homes sold in the southeastern Wisconsin housing market soared 22.9% in the first quarter compared with the first quarter of 2011, according to the Greater Milwaukee Association of Realtors.
Oh, that's picking up then, huh?
Yeah. Also, the Milwaukee Brewers rank among the most affordable for fans. The Milwaukee Brewers again rank the most affordable fan experiences in the Major League Baseball, according to Team Marketing Report's annual Major League Baseball Fan Cost Index, FCI.
So,
for 2012, the Brewers have... And that's the end of my article.
Why is it so expensive?
yeah.
No.
Well, brewers are cheap.
Yeah, it's just a stick and a ball.
Yeah. Back in the day, they used to let you bring food into the park with you.
SnapOn reports a robust quarter. Kenosha-based SnapOn Incorporated reported first quarter net earnings of $71.0 million or $1.21 per share, up from $56.2 million or 96 cents per share in the same period a year ago. The company's quarterly sales grew to $735.2 million, up 6.0% from 2011, excluding the $6.7 million of unfavorable foreign currency something.
Oh man, if I had money, I might invest.
That's investor news.
If I only had the money to invest.
All right. Milwaukee home prices have taken the biggest price hit among major metro areas in the nation, a 12.5% drop since the end of the year, a new report says. The culprit is still a high percentage of bank-owned distressed properties that are dragging down market prices, according to Clear Capital. A research firm that issued the report Tuesday. The report put the amount of real estate owned by banks after foreclosure to REO in the local market of Milwaukee, Waukesha, Washington, and Ozaukee counties to 35.9%. Milwaukee's lag in overall price performance is mainly attributed to the levels of distressed sale activity, as Alex... I don't know.
Wait a second.
I like how you gave up on that article. That was actually the
That's
best
like
part of that
I
article.
didn't like the guy's last name.
The way
I
you
don't know.
delivered it is like the market itself. It just collapsed. But it's in complete contrast to my perky article about the number of homes sold in southeast Wisconsin soaring 22%. What happened?
We had good news, and
Yeah.
well, it never
Well,
lasts.
here's a
though,
little
does it?
more bad news.
Uh-oh.
The common cold results in more than a sore throat and a runny nose. New research shows that illness can actually change our personal prejudices. When we are sick, we become more aware and repelled by people who seem unhealthy, whether or not those people are actually contagious. Researchers at the University of Kentucky and Florida State University found that study participants who had been ill paid more attention to pictures of disfigured faces than did healthy subjects. Those with recent illnesses were also quicker to push the images of disfigured faces away than they were to pull the images toward them.
Wow. That is just interesting news. But sick people cannot stand the disfigured, apparently.
I think it shows that these psychotherapists are a little ill.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man. Oh. I have it's kind of a long one. I'll do a little bit quick on this one, but we got a Milwaukee Journal from 1968. The UWM toughens its School of Fine Arts. As I was reading, this was 5 years after the School of Fine Arts was created, I guess. So, because of the bustle and semi-chaos this week at the theater department of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee School of Fine Arts, it would be easy to overlook a quieter purpose that has taken form. The hectic activity backstage at the beautiful and flexible new UWM Theater is in anticipation of next week's events, which will formally inaugurate the new Fine Arts Center. Musicians, dancers, and actors hustle around the theater, caught in the deadline squeeze of putting on many different kinds of performances in the same place. Backstage is not the place to be unless you are ready to step through coils of cables, dodge Greek masks on poles, and absorb a punishing amount of jumbled noise. The undercurrent behind the attention, getting musical premieres and drama special is less noticeable but more important. It is a revolution, both in the university's relationship to the arts and also in the extent and training of a fine arts student. The performing arts as a profession are coming up into their own here. The view of the fine arts as a demanding discipline that takes a lifetime of intense training to master seems self-evident, but when educators really take this view seriously, it creates an upheaval, as it has at several universities around the nation. No more can art appreciation courses be tucked into the curriculum as a solve to the cultural conscious or as an easy A. No longer. No more easy A's for those art kids. They've been sliding by way too long.
Well, a little bit more news from the 1982 Crazy Shepherd, which was a precursor to the Shepherd Express. Let's ask the real world. In order to find out what Milwaukeeans really think of the Grand Avenue Mall, action reporters Marcy Wickman and James McCarter hit State Street and asked tough questions of the area residents. What do you think about the new Grand Avenue Mall? Harley K. Aronson, who is a retired bookstore owner and budding opera singer, says, "It's only a fad. It won't work. There's no good money down here. When the suburbanites get tired of it, it'll close up. Personally, I wouldn't bother with going to see it. It's only a fad."
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't. The Grand Avenue Mall is kind of on tough times right now, I think.
Well, the action reporters went on to ask some more people on State Street.
Right.
Chuck Schreiner, who is a stock manager at Campus Foods. I don't know if Campus Foods exists anymore. I think they goofed by not putting in a grocery store. we have no grocery store around here. Now we can walk to the mall and buy a fur coat, but we have to take a bus to buy our dinner.
Well.
And then Richard Williams, who's a staff sergeant in the Army Reserves, said, "I haven't been there yet, but I think it's great. It gives us more of a variety down here. I just wish I had the money to buy something in there."
Oh. Looks like he's not going to be investing in SnapOn either.
Ida Riley, who when asked what her occupation is, she said, "There ain't no occupation to be found around here." And then she said, "I guess I like it fine, but I can't afford to go down there. I suppose I'll take my boy down, but we ain't gonna be able to buy nothing."
Well, it's hard times.
Well, they were right that the Grand Avenue ended up failing and falling on its face.
They're looking to revitalize it. They're gonna.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we need to bring it back.
Yeah, maybe if they put that grocery store in.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. Campus Foods, where are they? Let's get them in there.
All right. Driver on the right side in parking ticket dispute. For Steve Yamasaki, Timing is everything when it comes to his workouts. He prefers to visit his Lincoln Park gym no earlier than 6:01 p.m. It's all about the free parking. For more than a year, he has parked his Audi at least twice a week in the 500 block of West Drummond Place. Actually, he's a little bit more particular than that. Whenever possible, he parks his car on the south side of the street. Why? The pay box on the south side of Drummond Place runs until 6 p.m., while the pay box on the north side runs till 9. With that in mind, on March 8th, Yamasaki waited until a minute past 6, then parked his car and walked into the gym. When he returned to the car that night, he found an expired meter ticket attached to his window. It was time-stamped at 6:03 p.m. Figuring he had an open and shut case, Yamasaki contested the ticket by mail. He included a photo of the pay box number from the south side of the street, which was less than 50 feet from his car. It said public parking enforced every day, 9 to 6. He included a letter that simply stated, "The subject meter indicates that no fee is required after 6 p.m. The ticket that was issued at 6:03 apparently is in error." Administrative Law Judge Dennis E. Guest disagreed, citing information provided by the traffic enforcement aide. The judge said the ticket was issued based on pay box number, a different one, on the north side of the street. Consequently, as the registered owner, they are responsible for a fine of $50. The ruling, issued March 24th, gave him 21 days to pay the fine or it would double. The option was to pay 119 fees to file an appeal with Cook County Circuit Court, which, that made little sense, yeah.
It sounds like that guy got, what do you call it, hosed or something? A little bit? That was, yeah. They're just. Have you ever seen that show about the parking commission in Philadelphia? It's interesting. It shows parking wars. Yeah, it shows the people who give out those parking tickets. There's some of them have a real. They really enjoy like messing with people. Really, I don't know. It's kind of. Yeah, nothing makes their day like making other people unhappy that day. It's parking people.
Well, on a different note, Haley Alexander Van Oosten, perfumer in L.A., made her name with L'Œil du Verre, a small 4-year collection of intense blends that are mixed at purchase and housed in beautiful wooden bottles. Now she's branching out with Raw, a fragrance line featuring local plants and woods in their dirtiest, most primal forms. The Mayans prophesized that the flower would save humanity, says Pasadena, California native. I decided long ago to put my cards on that.
Oh. Well, so the Mayans have a prophesized salvation for humanity. So what is that we have?
Is a flower. The flower, it will save humanity. I have no idea how we went from the perfume bottle to Mayans prophesizing that the flower will save humanity. But L'Œil du Verre sells for $600 to $900 a bottle.
Oh, well.
So anyway, just go out there and grab one up, you guys, before they run out.
I think it's
Price is right. They're not going to last forever.
Flowers are the key. All right. Hell no, I'm gonna skip that one.
Yeah. Architect stayed active in Boy Scouts.
That's all right. Well,
arrest him.
Well, German festival soup is not just for summer anymore. It requires 1 package of brats, 2 gallons of pork or beef stock, 3 celery ribs diced, 3 carrots sliced, 2 rutabagas peeled and julienned, 2 turnips peeled and diced, 2 parsnips peeled and diced, 2 medium tomatoes, 2 cups of frozen French-style green beans, 1 acorn squash, clean, peeled and cubed, a medium onion, diced, 1 2/3 cups quick cooking barley, 1 1/2 cups fresh, frozen or whole kernel corn, 1 head of cabbage, coarsely chopped, 2 tablespoons of garlic, minced, salt and pepper to taste. Grill the brats according to package instructions, and slice into a 1/4 inch coins. Set aside in a large stock pot. Bring the broth to a boil. Add remaining ingredients, cover and simmer until vegetables and barley are tender. Makes about 24 servings. That recipe is courtesy of the kitchen of Johnsonville Sausage.
All right. Keep those sausages coming.
All right. Leeches help and hunt for rare species. Bloodsuckers they may be, but who's to say they can't be useful too? Leeches store blood for most of their recent meal for months, betraying the identity of their prey to those who care to look, which could be helpful in finding endangered species. Tom Gilbert of the University of Copenhagen in Denmark fed goat blood to leeches in a lab and found out that some of the DNA stuck around for more than 4 months. Next, his team collected 25 leeches from a remote tropical forest in Vietnam, which is rich in rare but shy species. 4 leeches yielded DNA from a rare striped rabbit, 1 from a rare muntjac, 6 from a rare badger, and 3 from a rare goat. The team says the rabbit's presence in the sampled area has been suspected since 1996, but 2,000 nights of camera surveillance couldn't confirm it. Well,
There we go. Medicine's bringing leeches back. All right. All right. With that, I got a nice one here. Sex technology and machine morality. Apparently, this is from The Futurist, the May-June edition. Apparently, not even the world's oldest profession is immune from potential technological obsolete. It's going to become obsolete. The commercial sex industry in Asia has already seen many human prostitutes replaced with sex dolls as an affordable and reliable alternative and a way around anti-prostitution laws. As the dolls for hire industry embraces robotics, ethical questions will increasingly emerge, warns Intelligent Toys Limited CEO David Levy. For instance, a proliferation of sex bots could put human sex workers out of business, many of whom have no other viable means of supporting themselves. Other ethical questions likely to arise include whether it's right for people to fall in love with or even marry their robot partners, and whether future sex bots with artificial consciousnesses should be entitled to legal rights. Can't your sex bot vote? Society's experience with multiplayer gaming and virtual worlds, such as Second Life, has shown that the human impulse for sexual experiences outside of committed relationships can strain such relationships in the real world. On the other hand, a robotic sex partner that meets an individual's excessive demands could help reduce sexual burdens on one's human partner, Levy suggests. In some ways, a robotic lover may come to be viewed no differently from other service-orientated robots, such as caregivers for the elderly or playmates for children, says philosopher Bly Whitby of the University of Sussex. Building caring systems of all sorts has great potential benefits, says Whitby. Prohibition would, on balance, be morally wrong. What is morally right is building and employing such systems in an ethical manner. Ethical sex bots.
Well, here's another ethical story. Gui Zhen Tang, Chinese largest user of bear gallbladder in traditional Chinese medicine, is under heavy public pressure after its intention to list on the stock market met with strong opposition from animal protection organizations. In a letter to local security regulatory board, the Animals Asia Foundation, a Hong Kong-based organization leading the protests, accused Gui Zhen Tang of extracting bile from live bears, catching the attention of the public. China's Association of Traditional Chinese Medicine, however, defended Gui Zhen Tang, saying bear bile, a rare ingredient, in traditional Chinese medicine has been used in over 100 remedies for decades, and the makers have been using advanced pain-free technology since the 80s. So to claim that the protest was orchestrated by Western groups to cripple TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine's competitiveness in the global market. Currently, there is no law or regulation in China that forbids bear farming. Experts have urged the government to consider whether and how to develop the industry to increase transparency.
I didn't know they were using bear bile. Well, apparently.
That's news to me, too.
Yeah. Huh.
This is a different world over there.
Yeah.
Wow. Noted historian John Gerda and intermingled puppets and human actors in a dramatic reenactment will highlight the 126th anniversary of the Bayview tragedy, that historic event that speaks volumes to today's workers. It has been called the bloodiest labor movement in Wisconsin history, when the state militia, with permission of the governor, fearful of organized labor, opened fire on workers marching for an 8-hour day. The annual commemoration of the Bayview tragedy will be held at 3 p.m. Sunday, May 6th at the Bayview Rolling Mills State Historical Marker Site at South Superior Street and East Russell Avenue on Milwaukee's lakefront.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary. So the workers wanted an 8-hour day, and they said no and shot at them.
Yep.
Yep, and they shot at him.
Wow.
How many people were shot?
Did it say? Yeah, did it say how
3
bad it
or
was?
something?
Let's see. The militia shot into some 1,500 workers. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. No, it doesn't say.
Doesn't say. Huh. Either way, they're shooting at you for only wanting to work 8 hours. Thank goodness.
Wow.
That's kind of scary. Well.
Bums.
Well, on a lighter note, loud snoring can destroy a good night's sleep for most people, but now help is on the way for iPhone users. Startup P-Tech HM has developed a Snoring You app for Apple devices that allows users to monitor their sleep, with the added benefit of receiving a summary of the night's sleep patterns the next morning. The app works by counting the number of times a user's snoring sound crosses a preset decibel threshold. Each time that threshold is crossed, the app can also nudge the sleeper by emitting a brief sound message to him to tell him he's snoring.
Ah. So it's going to beep at you for snoring.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah, I don't know if that...
I think it needs to
I don't know if
vibrate.
that helps, or if that's just going to keep waking you up
Or if it's
in the
going to
middle of the night
irritate
over.
your
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they're trying. They're trying. Apple. They're always trying.
That's what's great about capitalism. There's always someone's finding an app for everything.
Right. Here, it's gonna beep at you every time you snore. That'll fix you.
A biomaterials research team at Kyoto University has succeeded in manufacturing a soft, transparent plastic from crab and shrimp shells. They say the plastic can be used for next-generation organic EL displays and other applications in the future.
Oh, man. Ooh, I got a political one here for us. In Egypt's presidential race, and then there were none. Rules tie Egypt's politics in knots. So as in the 1001 nights, Egypt's presidential race features tales within tales and plots within devilish plots. Predictably, suspense reigns over which of the 23 registered candidates will win. But just now is not clear if any will even survive the first lap. The insurgent campaign of Hazim Abu Ishmael, a rotund lawyer turned preacher whose jolly demeanor bellies a radical Islamist agenda, is foundering on news that his late mother, speaking of, it's Mother's Day next week, don't remember everybody, His late mother may have been, horrors, an American citizen. This would bar him from running under Egypt's strict nationality rules. Mr. Abu Ishmael loves nothing more than to rail against America, and his fellow Islamists have enthusiastically backed the nationality rules. The only consolation is that they work against his rivals too. Abdel Monim Abel Futo, yeah, I butchered that, I'm sure. A more moderate Islamist is accused of holding a Qatari passport. The father of Mohammed Salim al-Awa, another Islamist would-be president, is rumored to be Syrian. The current poll leader, Amr Muasa, is running as a is running as a nationalist and is admired for his Israel bashing, while foreign minister is alleged to have had a Jewish mother who was also a Mossad spy. These challenges may not stand, but other candidates face bigger hurdles. Kahart al-Shatar, a Muslim Brotherhood strongman, could be barred under a provision that bans ex-convicts from running for political office, even if they received pardons and were jailed for political crimes. The same rule has already blocked another former political prisoner, and the brothers take the threat seriously enough to have registered a backup candidate. They have also used their parliamentary strength to mount a counter-thrust, rushing to enact a law that would ban officials from the ousted regime of Hosni Mubarak from politics. Among other things, this would rule out the grim former spy chief Amar Suleiman, whose late entry into the race has raised howls of outrage from revolutionaries. A final plot twist has come with a court decision that has stopped, pending appeal, the work of a recently appointed assembly charged with writing a new constitution. This makes it almost certain that the new constitution will be finalized only after a new president is chosen, and the tragic comedy is sure to go on. So, with all those butchered names in there, no one doesn't look like anyone can run for president in Egypt.
Well, here's a little advertisement from 1982. 95-cent imported beers Thursday nights, 7 p.m. till closing at Hey Fredrik, which is on 900 East Center. It's bottle or tap.
All right.
And
95 cents.
Yeah. Hey Fredrik must have been Quarters, what is now Quarters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right across the street.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought Quarters had been around a lot longer.
It's a nice picture. I wish I could put that over somewhere.
Yeah, it's got a picture of a sailor holding up a beer. Yeah, Hey Fredrik had a pretty good logo going.
Yeah, I liked it.
Better than Quarters' logo.
Going through it.
All right. Methane leaks out as Arctic ice cracks. So, as Arctic sea ice breaks apart, huge amounts of methane could be released into the atmosphere from the cold waters beneath, leading to even faster Arctic warming. Eric Hort of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, and his colleagues flew over the Arctic Ocean in 2009 and 2010 as part of a project to systematically map greenhouse gas levels. They found patches of methane in remote regions far from known methane sources, such as melting permafrost. The methane may have been made by marine bacteria trying to survive in waters that don't have many nutrients in the form of nitrates. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of gas out there.
Yeah.
A lot of methane. It's going to warm us up, though.
The world is coming to an end. But sometimes men and women with very different traits shared a preference for the same act. Neurotic men and extroverted women, for example, tended to enjoy performing oral sex, but extroverted men and neurotic women did not. Some coital preferences are predicted to be gender alone, or predicted by gender alone. Men like every sex act more than women do, Peterson says. They are also perhaps consequently more likely to favor casual sex. The study sample, however, was with students, sexual predilections, and can ebb and flow across a lifetime. On one measure, Peterson found no difference between men and women. They are equally likely to enjoy vaginal sex. Vaginal sex is the only sex act that is actually reproductive and evolutionarily makes sense. So that's why.
So you can't get pregnant in any other way.
Well, yeah.
I love the science.
You can get creative somehow. What?
So you can wear the wall down, like the lining there, and then you can
Oh, jeez. Oh, wow.
work at it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably all kinds of.
You want to be stealthy.
Wasn't there a famous case of, I don't want to get too graphic, but of a woman who had oral sex with a man and then got herself pregnant?
Oh, I think I heard of that, actually. Whether that might be an urban legend.
I don't know if
maybe.
it's an urban
legend. That might be
legend
one of
or-
those like things they tell you when you get to college to like scare you off.
Right,
I'm not sure
yeah.
if that. Yeah.
Was there Gspot in her throat, or?
They were looking for it. It's taken them 60 years. They were still searching. With that great. For some reason, the sex science doesn't seem to be as scientific. Somehow, I don't know.
That's because, well,
I don't know.
Well, that sounded better than that other article. What was the one? Oh, the one about eating in the dark. I didn't go for that at all.
Yeah.
Colombia's $370 billion economy is growing. Oh, sorry, Jim. I don't know why I just jumped in on that.
No, you're good.
Colombia's economy is growing and investment is flooding in, yet domestic pressure and President Juan Manuel Santos' falling ratings show the challenges the country faces.
Oh, man.
Also, officials in Italy are worried that this weekend's local elections could see the main parties suffer big setbacks from an austerity-weary electorate.
Yeah, the elections out there are getting tense.
Yeah, in fact,
Always.
Brazil's nerves are being tested by Argentina's increasing reputation as an economic pariah for its ad hoc foreign investment and trade policies, starting to test Brazil's strategic support for its neighbor. But that had nothing to do with elections. Sorry. You were right, though. There was President Sarkozy his hopes of re-election in France were hit when a key centrist backed his socialist rival, already buoyed by a strong TV debate performance. So France might be electing a socialist president.
Oh.
Yeah.
great news.
That's kind of to be expected with the French.
Something different. At least they don't have American mothers.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of which, remember Mother's Day next weekend? I know we're kind of wrapping up here.
Yeah.
Remember to vote on Tuesday.
Right.
For our recall elections here. What do we have for time? Yeah, we don't have much time. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna wrap it up in the next 3 minutes.
So again, thank you, Zav, Justin, Gabe, and myself, Jim, and Duke. He's chilling over there. Yeah.
I think he went home.
He'll be back. But so I hope everyone enjoyed round 2 of the news. We will keep finding the articles that are leading the way or bring the
trailing
path. Or we go both ways. Where's that study? So with that, I think maybe we'll. Anyone have anything to say before we trail off for the end of this week and get ready for this new week coming up?
All I can say is a venture company has released the ranking of companies that are most popular with students seeking employment. In the ranking, Nippon Life Insurance was number 1, followed by Recruit at number 2.
Oh, that's good to know. It's where to get your jobs, so you can invest in SnapOn.